I just assumed that was like a Wyoming thing, how dry the air is.
Yeah, all right, guys.
It's crazy.
You guys can hear us.
What was the final? 74-62.
Josh, Ryan, Nick, can you guys hear us? Okay, perfect. Josh starts off. You got Drake first and Wenzel.
Hey, Drake, down the stretch, obviously had a little bit of a cold streak shooting the ball there, late in the first half, early in the second. But, how big were some of those hustle plays and just kind of turning the momentum of the game tonight?
Oh, I mean, they were huge. I mean, offensive rebounding was huge for us tonight. Brendan Wenzel stepped up and took a charge. Just a lot of hustle plays, a lot of winning plays for guys that, I think really propelled us to that win.
Drake, what does this do for you guys that they fought back, took the lead, and you guys were able to respond down the stretch like that?
I think it's just a big momentum builder going into the break and then going down to Hawaii. We never get separated. We always stay together. Every time, there's a foul or something that we don't agree with, we come together and just, hey guys, let's go, just lock in. So and then, we're good to go and we stay together.
What were your thoughts just on kind of the overall shot selection tonight? It seemed like even though they weren't falling, the shots seemed like they were pretty good quality shots.
I mean, yeah, they were rotation threes, paint touch twos, and, just what Coach Linder wants from us. And I thought we had a pretty high quality of shots overall.
Drake, how much of a lift has Brendan given you guys off the bench this year, and how much has he improved since he first got here from Utah?
Oh man, he's gotten so much better. I mean, he's in the room right now. When he got here, he was fat. I won't lie. He was probably about 215 pounds. He was a big boy. He's big. But no, he's really got his body right. He's really got in the gym and worked out, and really bought into the program of being a Cowboy. And it's great having him come off the bench and providing those great minutes.
Arizona obviously is potentially a Final Four contender, but I'm sure you guys weren't happy with the way that went. Are you pleased with how you responded?
Yeah, no, I think how we came back tonight was a true testament to how we stayed together all year after even, a tough loss to Arizona. I mean, those dudes are the real deal there. They're legit, big, strong, athletic. I think just by us staying together, it was big on our part.
Last year, obviously, their big guy, had a monster game against you guys. Was it nice to have Graham in there holding his own with him?
Yeah. No, Graham really did an unbelievable job on him tonight. Held him to probably the worst game of his career. I mean, he had 5 rebounds, and I don't know the last time he's probably had 5 rebounds. Because against BYU, he put up like 24 and 22. So Graham doing his part is huge for us.
All right, thanks, Drake.
Thanks, guys.
And then you made some key shots tonight, but I think the key play was probably taking that charge. Just how did that feel to make a play on the defensive end and then kind of finish the game off?
Man, it was big. It was big. That had to have been a run for us. And so taking that charge, I think it really brought energy to the whole gym, to us. And so I think it was really big. We work on that stuff all the time. And, we know as the good habits that we have, we need to make plays like that. And that's what we do.
Brandon, you've stepped in and kind of been getting regular, consistent minutes these past few weeks. What does that do for you just as far as confidence and being able to get in the rhythm, knowing that you're going to be out there for an extended amount of time?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's my job. I know what I have to go in and do. I need to go in and produce and do the things that we need to do to keep our habits. And so I think me being able to go in there and get offensive rebounds or take charges or knock down shots, I think it's my job, and that's what I work on every day.
Was Drake making that up, or did you need to get in shape and change yourself last year?
Man, Utah had me at 220. So whenever I got here, I was 220 pounds. I was a little big. So now I'm down to like 195. Jimmy's got me right, and I've been working every day since I got here.
what have you been doing to lose the weight? Like, what specific things you've been doing in order to cut down that?
So me and Jimmy did a lot of cardio, a lot of running out on the football field. And it's also reps. You know, at Utah, I didn't get many reps. So whenever I come here and I'm doing reps at practice and I'm practicing all the time, it builds up and it takes all that away.
How much have you improved on the defensive end? Because I remember Jeff saying, leading into the season that you would be a big contributor if you got it right on the defensive end because of your offensive skills.
I think I've gotten a lot better on defense. I mean, whenever I got here, it was a big part. It was mentioned every single day at practice, and so it's just building those habits, you know, to focus on what you need to work on every time we practice. All right, thanks, guys.
All right, guys, we got Coach here as well. I'll let him talk about
Well, I mean, we knew it wasn't going to be easy. Have a lot of respect for Coach Madsen and staff and the job they've done at Utah Valley. It's not an easy job, and they won the WAC last year coming into the game. I mean, I think they were 7-2, having beaten BYU about 10 days ago. They've kind of been bit by injuries a little bit with a couple of guys, but when you got a guy like Fardaws down there, he presents a lot of challenges. And I thought our guys, especially after it was a tough, after the Arizona game. I mean, the thing is that in that locker room at Arizona, I mean, our guys they didn't have their head down. Now they were disappointed. They felt like they didn't give their best. Their best, and Arizona didn't see our best, but they knew that this next game was the biggest game, and for us to be able to finish kind of this stretch of the non-conference where we've had a lot of games in a short period of time, we've had a lot of travel, and there's hasn't been very many teams that have played on the road like we have, other than some of those teams that have to go around and play a bunch of bye games. And so for our guys to be able to handle this stretch, to be able to find a way to get that win to where now we have some time to where our guys, and I could feel it, I could sense it at Arizona that we were getting a little tired. And I was just hoping that we could find a way. And as coaches, we challenged the guys to know that, hey, we got 72 hours right here to where we got to empty the tank, knowing that, we have 10 days to where we can kind of recuperate, get rejuvenated, focus on us a little bit more. We've been so scout heavy right now in terms of just game after game, and our scout team's done an unbelievable job making sure that we get ready. But to find a way to win that game, to go 9-1, and to be able to go into Hawaii, the way that with that win is it's definitely a good thing. So we will enjoy the couple of days. We're going to enjoy the days off. And I would like to say as well as a big thank you. I was a little worried with the weather, with the roads closed, but to have the crowd, and especially the student section. I mean, a big shout out to the student section. They played a huge part in that game. I mean, just the energy they brought, and I thought it might end up being like going to Utah Valley last year. It was almost like a COVID game. I was worried there would be about 200 people in the stands, but thankfully the people of Wyoming. They're tough enough, and they understand, they're not scared of the weather. And so for them to show out like they did, I just can't thank them enough. The team can't thank them enough, because that energy that student section, that crowd brought that last 8 minutes played a big part in us winning that game.
Hey, Jeff, down the stretch, how big were some of those hustle plays just in terms of flipping the momentum back in your favor during that rough shooting stretch?
Yeah, at the 8-minute mark, I mean, we talked about we had to make, down the stretch, we had to find a way to get a couple kills, and we had to find a way to make winning plays. And I thought that, obviously Brendan's charge, I think collectively, I mean, we just did a better job. And that was the issue there, at the start of the half, was that we missed 2 layups, right away, where we could have really made that, bump that lead up. And then instead, now they come down and we weren't getting enough stops. And so then it was putting pressure on us to come down and score. They struggled to guard us man. I don't think they could guard us man. And so Smart move on their part, trying to mix it up, which we knew we were going to see some 2-3 zone and some 1-3-1. And for the most part, I thought we did a good job attacking it. And it's just, they got a good team. And there's a reason why they've won games, and they got a smart team. They don't make a lot of mistakes. And when you got a big guy like that inside, it makes a huge difference. But I thought, Graham, even though, he had 13 and 9, the 6 offensive rebounds and just, the job that he did on Fardaws. I mean, Fardaws hasn't had a night like that in 2 years where he's had 14 and 5, where he's had 1 offensive rebound. Coming into the game, he averages almost 4 offensive rebounds a game. And I think our effort on the defensive glass, knowing that the two times that they've lost, their offensive rebounding rate was 20% or less. And so that was a big challenge to our guys, is that can we hold them under 20% offensive rebounding rate, knowing that is a big indicator of whether you can beat these guys.
Jeff, how far has Wenzel come since he arrived in Laramie?
To be honest, he's come a long, long ways. I mean, I've mentioned it to him numerous of times, especially back in the spring. And as I say, you're going to be the first guy that ends up being in the transfer portal twice in the same semester. But he's a guy that, having recruited him out of high school, knowing how talented he is, especially from an offensive standpoint, but also that feel that he has offensively, you see it on the defensive end. And just, for him, it hasn't been easy, going to Utah, having a red shirt, and then, they try to make you something that you're not, in terms of trying to put a bunch of weight on him. And so he comes in here 220 pounds and he could barely move. And so a big credit to him for putting in the work to get his, and I told him, I'm like, I'm not going to play you until your body fat index is at least below 15%. I mean, for us as a program, the goal is to be 10 or under 10%, but I was like, you're never going to touch the floor until you're under 15%. And, he took the challenge, and Jimmy, my strength coach, who's fantastic, as good as there is in the country, did a really good job of just staying on him. But I think for him, he had to decide whether or not he wanted to be at this level. And I told him, this level's not for everybody. I mean, the demands that come with this level, the sacrifices that you have to make. I mean, you have to want to be here. And I think he had to really kind of look himself in the mirror, especially at the start of this semester, and figure out whether or not he wanted to do it. And he said he wanted to do it. And slowly but surely, you're starting to see when you put together days and you do the right things and you have the right habits, he's a guy that can help us win games.
Jeff, are you pleased not only with how they responded to the Arizona game, but Utah Valley came out early in the second half and kind of punched you guys in the mouth and took the lead, and you guys responded to that as well?
Yeah, we've done that for the first 10 games. I mean, we've had, the lead at, Grand Canyon, we had a double-digit lead. Cal State Fullerton, we had a double-digit lead. I mean, at Washington, the first half, we had a double-digit lead. And, the sign of a good team, and is a team that just sticks together, and knowing that, we just had to find a way to get the necessary stops. And then I thought we did a good job off those stops of, pushing the ball down the floor to where we didn't have to play against that, let them get set on the zone. And so I think that, the stops that allowed us to get down there and give our guys credit for making plays and making shots. I mean, we got some open looks, and we knocked them down.
Jeff, how big was it to bounce back like this after the Arizona game?
Well, I put on the board before the game that, hey, we're 8-1. You sometimes you lose sight of that after you lose the game, after you've won 8 in a row, and knowing too that you probably might have lost to the number 1 ranked team in the country next on Monday. That's how good they are. And so we can't lose sight of, the first 8 games and what we've done. And we can't allow the Arizona game, which I knew coming in on Thursday after, we came back and we got on the floor, that our guys, they didn't have an Arizona hangover. They knew that they could use that game to help them move forward, to know what it really feels like to play against a legitimate top 10 Final Four contending team. And I think that, hopefully at some point we'll have another opportunity to play a team like that. And when we do, it's going to be, it'll look different, but you can't really simulate what that felt like. And I think for our guys, it just shows the maturity of the group to say, hey, listen, it happens. But you know what, we got to move on. And we learn from it. The players learn from it, coaches. And that's the beauty of it, is that sometimes you get exposed. And when you get exposed, you got to figure it out, find a way. You can't feel sorry for yourself, because if you felt sorry for yourself, I mean, Utah Valley is going to come in here and crack you. And so a great response by our guys, and hopefully we can take this momentum into Hawaii.
You guys good? All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, guys. Stay warm.
Thanks.
Thank you, Coach. We'll see you next week.